Do you ever feel like you're battling your own body, fighting with your pain, symptoms, or even yourself, trying to fix, figure out, and force your way through? If so, you're stuck in the fight response. And without realizing it, this is worsening your chronic pain and symptoms. The fight response is one way your nervous system helps you survive. It mobilizes you to take action and face danger. But when the fight response stays stuck on, it can fuel your chronic pain and chronic symptoms. In this video, we're going to unpack the fight response and how having a fight response to your pain and symptoms often backfires. More importantly, we're going to go through an embodiment practice that's going to help you feel into the fight response underneath your pain and symptoms and release it. Let's dive in. The fight response is part of the sympathetic branch of your nervous system. What it's meant to do is mobilize you to face a challenge or a threat in your environments. It's responsible for frustration and anger, and your nervous system goes into this when your nervous system accurately or inaccurately perceives danger internally or externally. Now, here's what the fight response can look like. The physical experience is tension, difficulties breathing, increased heart rate, difficulties sleeping, tingling, heat, dizziness, chronic pain, tension, tinnitus, and other physical symptoms. The mental experience is racing thoughts, irritated thoughts, blaming, self-criticism, obsessive thinking, dwelling or ruminating, and anger or rage. The behavioral experience is changes in tone and expression, urgency, moving quickly, looking for arguments or confrontation, yelling, aggressive actions such as pushing, punching, or kicking. Now let's talk about what a fight response looks like to your chronic pain or symptoms. So this can look like irritation or anger when feeling the sensations of pain or symptoms. Sometimes people feel the anger almost directed at the sensations of pain or symptoms inside. It can be unhelpful thinking, such as being critical of your pain or symptoms, critical of yourself, or thoughts focused on anger or things being unfair or unjust. Unhelpful behaviors, trying to fix, figure out, and force yourself to heal from your pain and symptoms, excessive assessments or physical treatments, constantly researching or reading about a mind-body approach, and using the mind-body strategies with this aggressive lens. I see so many clients fall into this category where they're using all the right techniques, but they have this aggressive lens that they're using it with. It can also look like pushing through your pain and symptoms. So say you have high pain and symptoms, you're just pushing through your day, even though they're getting worse and worse over time. Now, I want to be clear here. Having a fight response to your pain and symptoms is not going to help you heal. You're not to blame for going into this response. We don't control our nervous system, but we need to understand that it's not actually helpful. When you have a fight response to your pain and symptoms, your nervous system is going to get more dysregulated, which essentially means your brain and nervous system is feeling increased levels of danger. And when you have increased levels of danger going on, your pain and symptoms are going to be perpetuated or worsened over time. Now, for myself, when I was 2 years in to having widespread debilitating chronic pain, I was in a frantic fight response. I was fighting back against my symptoms with assessments from physicians, excessive physical treatments. I would always be critical of my symptoms. I would blame myself for them. And I was constantly having angry outbursts about it. And to fully heal, I needed to shift out of that. I know this is difficult. I know having this fight response to something that feels unpleasant inside, it makes sense. But we can do things to help ourselves release the fight energy. Now, we essentially need to give up the fight. You're not giving up on healing. You're just giving up on the fact that this is not the response that's going to help you. We give up on the fight. We practice dropping in to feeling the fight response underneath our pain and symptoms and learning to release it and move through it. Now, we're going to go through an embodiment practice to release the fight response underneath your pain and symptoms. Now, this practice is best done when the sensations inside, including pain, symptoms, fight response, are mild to moderate. If they're too high, you're not going to be able to tolerate attending to them and creating safety with them. So to begin, you can close your eyes or lower your gaze. And at first, just slow down your breathing. Breathing in and out through the nose, making your exhale nice and long and drawn out. With each exhale, try to make it a little bit longer. With each breath, you're dropping in a bit more to your body and just following the sensations within your breathing cycle. And now we're going to bring our focus to any pain or physical symptoms you feel inside right now. So just scan your body from the top of your head down to the bottom of your feet. And just notice, where in your body are you feeling pain or symptoms? And we want to get really curious about them. Are the sensations of pain or symptoms localized to a few small areas, or are they more widespread? And really describe them. Describing them in detail. Are they tingly, tense, burny, pressury, achy, heavy? Really just get to know what the sensations are like and moment to moment, really exploring them. And if you can, it's like each time you exhale, you're just moving in your focus. You're moving it in a little bit closer to the sensations, just staying interested in what they're doing. Now that we've explored the pain or symptoms, I want you to notice if there's a fight response happening behind your pain and symptoms. So again, scanning your body and noticing if any of this fight response is taking place. Perhaps your heart's racing. You feel tension, constriction in your limbs and chest. Maybe you can feel that heat, that anger within. Maybe your muscles are twitchy or shaky. But just for a moment, really get to know this fight response taking place inside. You might even notice what shape, size, color, or texture the fight response is presenting like. For example, for myself, it always feels kind of jagged, prickly, and red. Just practice breathing with the sensations, breathing deep, letting yourself approach them and be with them. Remind yourself of the connection between this fight response and your pain and symptoms. When our pain and symptoms are neuroplastic, what this means is there's no damage or disease in the body. It's dysregulation and danger in our brain and nervous system that's creating the symptoms and perpetuating them. And so this fight response you feel, it's just important to understand that's what's driving it. That's what's running the show right now in terms of your pain or symptoms. And we don't need to force it to go away. We're just practicing dropping out of our mind and being with that fight energy inside, allowing ourselves to breathe deeply with it, get exposure to it. And over time, doing this practice and the other practices on my channel, we can shrink that fight response behind your pain and symptoms. We can shrink it down. And as a result, your pain and symptoms will start to reduce naturally. So it's just trusting that you're putting the right actions in and the healing will come. Just reminding yourself that your body is healthy and capable and that you're safe right now. And now we're going to do some slight somatic movement. And as we do it, notice what happens to the fight response. Notice what happens to your pain and symptoms. So we're going to pair with breathing. So you're going to raise your arms up. And as you exhale, you're going to push out in front of you. Feel the tension in your hands and arms. And then as you inhale, Draw your hands back in. Exhale, push out, letting go of that fight response out in front of you. Inhale, draw your hands in. Keep this going. Noticing what happens to sensations inside as you do this. Giving yourself permission to give up and let go of the fight response. Bring your arms down and just become aware. What's happened to the fight energy, your pain and symptoms inside? Checking in. And we're going to finish this practice by bringing about a sense of compassion and ease to the fight response. So I want you to take your hands and place them wherever is comfortable, but if you can, place them over where you mainly feel that fight response inside. So it's placing them there, and just start to breathe warm air directly in, right into that fight response. As Kristen Neff talks about, you're using your breath to soften the edges. Soften the edges of those fight sensations. You're using your touch to soothe that area. Soften with your breath and soothe with your touch. I want you all to imagine that for the rest of the day, as you feel this fight energy, maybe it comes and goes, maybe it stays, whatever it does is okay. But I want you to imagine, how could you respond to this fight response with compassion, ease, care, and kindness? Perhaps you practice going through your day slower. Maybe you do certain activities or tasks that bring about a sense of calmness, ease. Or perhaps you say kind, compassionate things to yourself and to sensations within. Just allowing yourself to visualize this vividly. As we come to the end of this practice, just check in of what's changed or what feels different inside. What's different with the fight response, your pain symptoms? If nothing's changed, that's perfectly okay. Give yourself appreciation and care for going through this practice and slowly putting in the practice to heal. You're doing the work that's needed. You're focusing on responding differently to the fight response that's been driving your pain and symptoms. And it's just the fact that you've put in that effort. That's what matters right now. So take one more deep breath in and out. And we'll bring this practice to a close. So I hope this video was helpful. If you need extra support in your healing, my digital course, The Somatic Safety Method, has over 60 somatic practices, emotion-focused practices, nervous system regulation practices. So if you need that extra support, I'll put the link down below and you can go sign up. I'll talk to you all soon.